Здравейте и беше на първи епизод на подкаста на Езиковата. Днес сме тук с нашия първи гост, Мис Маги. Може да сте виждали по коридорите, може да преподава.
Здравейте, казвам се Мис Маги и аз съм американка английски и живея в Шумен.
Our first question is, why did you become a Fulbrighter and why did you choose Bulgaria?
It's a great question. So I was in my senior year of university, and because I was a really high achieving student, I had excellent grades, excellent professors and campus recommenders who suggested I apply for the program. It's considered something that you do to build your career and gain lots of experience while traveling internationally. I was originally interested in Bulgaria because I had never been to Eastern Europe and I had never been to the Balkans either. And I wanted to know more about the region. The Bulgarian Fulbryt program is considered one of the best in the world. So I wanted to be part of what was the best in the world.
So, Bulgarian culture and American culture is very different. What was your biggest culture shock when you first came here?
It's another really good question. In orientation, they prepare the ETAs and everyone warns us, oh, Bulgarians are so blunt, Bulgarians complain so much. So I got out to Šumen and everyone is just so nice all the time. And I mean, there's a little bit of complaining, but for the most part, I was expecting a level of meanness that just isn't here. I've found people to be so kind and so welcoming and so appreciative of my teaching, and I try and be appreciative of them in turn. So maybe it's not culture shock, but the opposite of culture shock.
Well, that's actually very nice to hear for our country. Mm-hmm. Next question is, what would you like to have in Bulgaria that is already present in the US?
I really miss bubble tea. My brothers make fun of me when I tell them how much I miss bubble tea. And I know you have it here, but it's just something about like Kung Fu tea. It's an American brand that we don't have here, and I really miss it.
Plus, I think we have bubble tea in Varna, but not in Šumen yet. So maybe that's
right.
That's an area for development. So next up we have, what is your favorite Bulgarian dish, Bulgarian tradition, and Bulgarian word?
My favorite Bulgarian dish would probably be, I would like anything chicken. I love the chicken soup here, and I love shkembe. And I had never had shkembe before. I absolutely adore shkembe soup. My favorite Bulgarian tradition is definitely Baba Marta and the Martinitsas. I think it's a really awesome way to welcome in spring and to celebrate kind of the end of winter. My favorite Bulgarian word, zelenchutsi. It's just fun to say.
It's cute.
And we all know that from here to the States is an extremely long travel. What is your favorite activity to do to distract yourself from the 24-hour journey?
It's a great question. So typically I either sleep when I'm on the bus or the plane, or I'll make a vlog for the students because I've heard that the students like to see the vlog of the journey. Or I journal and I just think about like, what have I taught that semester? Am I doing a good job? What do I need to do better? What do I want the next stage of the experience to be?
That's very reflective. If you could change one thing about your stay here, it could be about teaching, could be about Bulgaria in general, what would that be?
I would have tried sooner to learn the language. Mm-hmm. I've taken language learning really, really seriously this year. I wasn't able to prioritize it as much as I wanted to my first year because I was a first-year teacher. Being a first-year teacher is one of the hardest jobs in the world, on top of starting a speech and debate team, on top of learning how to live in Šumen. It was just hard, so I didn't have time to meet with a teacher or anything. But this year I have, and I think I've seen a lot of improvement in myself, but you guys would know better.
Yeah. Let's move on to your career as an ETA. What are some of the most memorable moments that you will have with you from the classroom or from all the extracurricular clubs?
I have a lot of really great memories from my classes over my years here. My favorite one I will truly remember forever in that it will live rent-free in my head. Yesterday, I was teaching a class and this kid I did not know, had never seen before, came into the classroom and he shouted, "Imateli kimikalka," and someone gave him a pencil and then he shouted, "Merci," and then he ran out of the room. And I was like, do we know him? And all of the students were like, no. And I was like, okay. So we kept going with the lesson. And then in the last 5 minutes of class, the kid came back and he returned the pencil and he said, thank you. And then he left. I never got an explanation. I don't know who that kid was or why he needed a pencil, but that one will stay with me for a while. It's really fun to think about who I was in high school and then to see you students have those moments that I remember so well from high school. So that's another really fun memory. I've loved doing the trolley problem and the heart to give lessons, particularly with the younger students. Because it's just silly enough for them to giggle at it. But you also occasionally hear some really sharp insight from really young people when you think about like an 8th or a 9th grader, thinking about what are the values that's important to them and how do they carry that forward and live that out. So that's always something that kind of stops me in my tracks whenever I hear it.
So just for context, Mis Maги teaches us literature and culture. So out of those two subjects and out of all the themes that we've covered, what is your favorite thing to teach?
I love teaching the speaking games with the younger students. The textbook is a little bit more challenging for me to teach from because I can tell it's a little bit more challenging for the students to pay attention to. And as a teacher, that's difficult because it's harder to get your students to want to do something. So if they don't like the textbook, then that's harder for me. But when I play a speaking game with the younger students, they want to play a game. So I can take a worksheet and tell them it's a game, and then they'll love that worksheet. But it's difficult for me to turn the textbook into a game.
So the education system here in the States is extremely different. Mm-hmm. So if you could add one subject to our education system, what would it be? And I would like to add, what is something from our system that you would like to take to the States?
I think Bulgarian students, American students, something all students really, really need to work on is critical thinking skills, particularly in our modern world with... I don't want to sound like a boomer and blame the cell phones, but I do think the cell phones and the constant exposure to social media has done something to our ability to regulate ourselves emotionally and to think about the world around us. So I would love to see the education system respond to that need and create a class to help students learn to think critically about the information that they're getting off of social media. One thing I would love to see the United States implement that Bulgaria does so well is the United States is just terrible at teaching languages. The Bulgarian system is incredible at it. I have students here who could pass as native speakers, which is absolutely just incredible. And then I'll hear that, oh, they've only been studying the language for 3 or 4 years. And that just consistently blows me away.
So you came here after finishing college, and as a lot of us are going to go to college soon, we would like to know more about your college experience, about what you study, what was your favorite part of it.
I went to the Villanova University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I had 2 majors. I studied environmental science, and my second major was geography. And I absolutely loved them both. I was not a science person in high school, believe it or not. So when I applied to college, I originally went in with the intention of being an English major. But my 12th grade English class was so terrible and the teacher was so mean that I was like, I will not study English. I will not do this anymore. And I had the most wonderful environmental science teacher that year, Mrs. Johnson. I fell in love with the subject. I was terrible at it. I had to study 4 or 5 hours every night for it, but I loved the problem-solving process that environmental scientists get to do. And that was why I chose environmental science, because I love the problem-solving process. And the environment has a lot of problems. And I like solving problems.
No, I doubt that we'll be your last students. So for the future, what is a piece of advice that you would like to give to youngsters?
I would say make as many mistakes as possible, because we really, unfortunately, I've noticed in myself at least, I tend not to learn from my successes. I just move on. But failure is painful, but failure is also an excellent, excellent teacher. So I would advise everybody in this stage of life to make as many mistakes as possible, because at this stage in your life, you can easily recover from most mistakes and you will learn so much from the mistakes that you make at this age.
So we're getting quite serious, but I want to switch the topic to some more honestly random questions that we found and that we thought would be fun to include. So one of them is, if you could travel back to a specific historic era, which one would you pick and why?
This is a really, really good question, and I don't know if I have an answer. My siblings and I always joke that, like, we would have loved to be in Ireland in, like, the 18th century because we would have led one of the rebellions. And I don't know if that's where I would like to be. But I think if I got to bring anybody back to the 18th century in Ireland, I would want to bring my siblings and maybe we would do a rebellion.
Maggie, would you say you're an open book?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, then if it really was a book, what would your current chapter name be?
I would steal the name of my family's group chat right now, and it's the Bulgarian Electric Boogaloo. We have a separate chat on WhatsApp so that I can stay in contact with my family, and we call it the Bulgarian Electric Boogaloo.
May I ask where you got that name from?
I think one of my brothers made it up. Electric Boogaloo is like a joke in the United States, so you'd be like, oh, take two, Electric Boogaloo. And it's my second year, and we're in Bulgaria, so take two, Electric Boogaloo.
Amazing, thank you.
That's such a great name, honestly. So, as you're looking forward to the future, outside of Bulgaria or maybe at some point back in Bulgaria, what is a dream of yours that you would like to achieve?
Eventually, I would love to become a writer. I originally intended to be an English major for a reason. Unfortunately, writers in the United States don't make a ton of money. So my goal is to make lots of money in the very wealthy professions of teaching and protecting the environment. And then I'll become a writer with my millions and billions of dollars.
I'd like to add a question. What would you write if you were to become a writer?
I would write novels that future generations of Bulgarian high school students would need to learn from the Legacy 2 textbook.
And the last question we have for you today is who or what inspires you?
A lot of people and a lot of things inspire me. It's very cliche to say my mom, but you know, she's a very tough, good lady, and she set a wonderful example for me. Everyone in my family really has. I think also the students and the colleagues here at Ezikovata really, really inspire me to want to be the best English teacher possible. Everyone here just works so hard and is so kind and so wonderful that, of course, I want to be my best and I want to try my best because I know they're trying their best. That's a constant source of inspiration and a constant source of me wanting to do better.
И с това завършвам първи епизод на подкаст на Езиковата гимназия. Благодарим ви, че слушахте.
Ciao, ciao. Like then.
Cut!
Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe. Ударете чана.